My name is Dan Sinatar. I'm a coordinator for International Student and Scholar Services. I will be kind of one of the co-hosts, co-moderators for this event, and I will turn it over to my colleague, who will also be kind of co-host and co-moderator, to introduce herself and tell you about her role at Miami.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming, for participating in this session. I'm Anastasia Mihailov-Flannery, and I work in the Career Center as the Assistant Director of Global Career Development. So I work with both domestic and international students and engaging them with global opportunities. And I'm really excited to see everybody and look forward to your answers and the questions that you guys have posed.
Before we introduce or have the panelists introduce themselves, I do just want to give a shout out to some other colleagues kind of who helped with this and who might be involved. Our international admissions team and also our alumni association office. But other than that, I think we are ready to begin. So let's begin by having our panelists kind of introduce themselves, just kind of briefly introduce kind of who they are, what they studied at Miami, and kind of where they are now. So with that, I'll turn it over to the panelists to introduce themselves.
I can go ahead. Hi, everyone. My name is Lulu Song, and thank you so much, Molly, Dan, and Isnisha for organizing this event. It's a pleasure to be here to share my experience, and hopefully this would find you helpful. So I graduated from Miami University 2016 with a major in marketing and minor in information system. After I graduated, I landed my first career within the advertising agency industry and focusing on media planning and buying. After that, I moved to client side, focusing on digital marketing strategy and marketing analytics. Currently work at Bloomberg, promoting our new subscription product, reside in New York City, and I'm really happy to be here. So I'm excited for this event. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. My name is Emmanuel. I graduated from Miami in 2019 from Institute for the Environment and Sustainability. I currently work in Kroger, Kroger Manufacturing Company, as one of the operations supervisors. I focus on safety, occupational safety, environmental health and safety. That is where I currently work now. Thank you.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thanks for having me here. I'm very excited to be here, and hopefully this will be a helpful session to you all. My name is Nguyen. I'm from Hanoi, Vietnam, and I graduated from Miami University over a year ago in May 2020 during the pandemic, and started working at Ernst & Young Chicago, working as a technology risk consultant. So I've been in this position for over a year, focusing mostly on IT auditing, as well as helping companies with their risk and controls framework. Yeah, that's all about me. I'm excited to be here.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shakti Vesh. I graduated from Miami pretty recently in 2021. I'm currently working as an environmental waterfront planner. What I do, most of my work involves environmental assessment, surveying property, creating design plans for the property which are located in the waterfront area. So we do some private projects, some commercial projects. It really depends. Yeah, I think that's all about me.
Hi, so I'm Sudarshan, and I graduated on 2019, just before COVID, and I got my PhD from Miami University. So I also got my master's there. I also got my applied stat grad certificate there. So I've been in Miami for a long time, like 8 years. Yeah, it was a really fun place. So after graduating from Miami, I went to University of Michigan to do my postdoc. And I spent there around like 1.5 years, and then came back to Ohio and joined Children's Hospital, the Cincinnati Children's Hospital, as a research fellow. So I do like bioinformatics work. I kind of like analyze like genomics data. At Michigan, I was working with some sort of like healthcare data set. So I basically do like data analysis, bioinformatics, computational stuff. And thanks for having me, Molly and Dan.
Hi everyone, my name is Yiting and I graduated from Miami in January 2018, majoring finance and math. Then I went to the master degree of financial engineering at USC. After graduation, I joined Blackrock as an analyst in pricing team. And it's really great to be here and great to having me. Thank you.
Kind of first question, how did your Miami experience help in your first job? And if it's not your first job, kind of overall your kind of career development. So if you could just kind of speak about how your Miami experiences did go on to impact your first job and continuing career development.
I would like to answer that, Dan. When I came to Miami, I joined as a grad assistant in Project Dragonfly. That helped me get accustomed to the US work culture, and I learned a lot of things which happen differently in India and how it works here. I would say my course was very much focused on practical learning and application of what we were studying. That helped me to get more work experience in the field and have somewhat better understanding of what is going to be when I actually be working in the field. Then the other most important thing that was happening in the background or on the side was Career Center, which was typically guiding me almost every week on how to build my resume, how to work on it, how to focus on job search, what should I be looking forward to, what are the things I should be concerned about, and all that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think Career Center was extremely helpful for me at Miami within my experience. I came in as like a freshman, didn't know anything about job or career. And I think having Career Center and the business school's curriculum very focusing on career and job search really helped me understand what are the proper steps to take. And that was extremely helpful. I started out like building my resume, going to networking events with that. So I think that was extremely helpful and just getting knowledge and experiences in understanding how the job search process works. Additionally, as I was in the business school, I think we had a really good relationship with some of the employers, including my employer currently, Ernst & Young, or like some of the big four. They would come to the career fair or host some individual networking events, which was super helpful. So I would encourage you all to take advantage of those opportunities whenever it arises and go to those events, as putting your face to your name is always better than just applying online. So I think those were the experiences at Miami that were really helpful for me.
And I would say, I would say like being part of the student organization definitely helped me to build connection and make friends. Eventually also, working as like gaining like leadership experience from those student organization. I was part of the Carbo student organization when I was in Miami, and definitely like we conduct weekly leadership meeting and really just like organizing fun events for our student organization and learn how to collaborate with other peers. Is definitely a big part of building a team and a collaboration.
As for me, there are three major things that set me up for success in the line of career that I've chosen. Number one is my academic experience in my department, that is IES, Institute for the Environment and Sustainability. And the second factor is the support that I got from the Career Center. The third thing is my social interactions with students and professors, and my membership in social organization. For my academic performance in my department, for IES, IES is all about problem solving. We were taught about problem solving, and that really helped me in my current job because it's all about problem solving out there. When you get a job out there as an international student, you should be able to have a plus. You should be able to make a positive impact. And if you can't do this, it becomes something that is really challenging. Yeah, so, and my research skills, the research skills, which I learned from Miami University, that really helped me a lot because out there, you need to have some qualities that will make you to stand out. As an international student, you need to perform 5 times better than every other person, before you will be noticed. Those are the challenges and those are the truth about being an international student. Apart from this, my leadership experience in Miami University also helped me. I was one time a member of IPO, International Peer Orientation Leader. I think Dan, we work together. So it's really helped me in terms of leadership because when you get a job out there, it's all about managing people. Like in Kroger, I have my team that I manage, and being an IPO member kind of gave me the confidence. It gave me the assurance that okay, I know how to manage these people. So those are the factors that really helped me. And the career office in Miami University, I'm really grateful to them because the first time I showed them my resume, they were like, they were the one that taught me that, okay, your resume must be smart, specific, measurable, achievable, and reliable, So, they really helped me to put my resume together. And all these factors kind of really helped me to set me up for success in terms of job hunting.
Thank you so much. These were, okay. Do you want to go? You want to go as well? Sorry. Sorry. Go for it.
Yeah, I would say like definitely there's a lot of resources in Miami that help to build the hard skills or soft skills. That there's a lot of case competition during the campus that you can attend, and there's a lot of student organizations to build improve your communication skills, which I think is really important when looking for jobs. I think basically all things that you're talking about is really important. I would say just grab any opportunities that you have and step out of your comfort zone that you have to challenge yourself. Then anything that you just use anything you can get from Miami. Yeah.
Thank you so much. That was so good. I have the second question I'm going to ask is specifically about internships. And I am wondering what were your internship experiences, if you had any, while enrolled here as a student, and how that helped you in getting that first opportunity post Miami.
I can go. So when I was a student, I interned almost every summer. And the first 2 internships I interned in Vietnam. And my second internship in Vietnam was with Ernst & Young Vietnam. And I think that was really helpful in helping me getting a job with Ernst & Young in the US, because they have the brand name and they can make some sort of connection. And there's some sort of similarity in the values and the branding across different offices, across different countries. So I think I always try to draw on my experience there when I was talking to the recruiters or the employers in the US. And I think that that helped just making some sort of impression. And then in my third year of college, I interned at a technology company as a product manager intern, and that was extremely helpful experience as well. It really acclimated me to accustomed to the working culture in the US, really helped me understand some other technical things that I was trying to learn as well. So I learned a lot more about technology and some of the products that was really going to be a helpful foundation for me to apply for my current job, because as a technology risk consultant, you're kind of expected to understand a little bit about products, applications, processes, and IT processes. So that was really helpful as well. So all in all, I would highly encourage try to get as many internship experience as you can, because working is really different from learning sometimes, and you can really put your knowledge to use when you actually work on a real world project or business project.
I would kind of like to go back, and some of you kind of touched upon this in your previous answer, but I was hoping we could maybe kind of hone in on that first job after you did graduate from Miami. And if you could just kind of take us through that, like what was it like kind of searching for that first job after you graduated, and what was that process? How did you find it? How did you kind of get your foot in the door, so to speak, with that first job after graduating from Miami?
I can go. So also tie back to the internship questions we had. I definitely think internship is very important, and then trial, like getting an internship is, prepare you for the professional work experience and really get you familiar with the industry. But for my personal internship experience, I had a digital marketing intern when I was in school, but I won't say that's like a very successful internship. So after I graduated, I started to apply just on LinkedIn, and then, getting my resume ready, have a look for different people, and get my resume ready. And then second thing is practice your interview skills. So I remember like endless interviews, and sometimes when you don't get a feedback, or if you're failing a interview, that's perfectly normal. So getting interviews from different small, big company is something that I was working towards. And then, opportunity comes when you're ready. So I will say, like, have your resume ready and then practice your interview, and never afraid of failing an interview.
Seeking the first job, I'm not going to lie, it's very difficult, but it's just how constantly you are into it and how much effort you're ready to put in. The best thing that worked out for me was reaching out to Miami alums through LinkedIn. You will see the university name. And I used to give them a little bit of introduction about myself. I heard from most of them. There were multiple career opportunities that came up. Some of them were successful, some of them were not. But they usually help you find your way through it, and help you land into your first job. My first job, I landed through LinkedIn itself. The other thing that was very helpful was keeping a record of where you're applying, because sometimes the interviewers just call without any notice, and you're probably just looking at a phone, and there's a call, and then they start interviewing you, and you need a minute to understand about what is happening, and did you apply to this company, what position you applied for, what role. So I used to make an Excel sheet which had a brief description about the role and the little bit about the company. So I would quickly open it and then process and go forward with my interview process, which was, I would say, a very, very helpful thing. Yeah, I think all these networking profiles, all the media platforms where you can probably connect with more and more people is the most helpful tool. And that is one thing that you should be continuously doing in order to grow your network and to help yourself find a better opportunity. And sometimes it helps in realizing some of the career paths which you might have not anticipated, which are possible in your field. So I would say just keep looking.
Yeah, I would say I have the similar, I did the similar things as Sachi, which I keep a record of every job that I apply for. Because I think like each time when there's an interview approach, that I have to know like which position I apply for. And I think it's definitely help. And sometimes I will tailor my resume to specific job descriptions. So I have to find out that resume and kind of, match the resume to the job description and prepare for my interview. And the second thing I would say that I also like network with people in LinkedIn or alumni, that I write an introduction of myself to them and ask them whether we can have a like short chat and discuss about maybe their career experience and any advice they can give, or they might also offer, like the referral, which is the way that I got my job, because I got referral from people and I got an interview. So yeah, I would say that's basically it.
How many jobs did you apply for before getting that first one? Like, what is that number, just to give everyone a sense? Like, what is that number? Like, how many to apply for before you got that first one?
Can I answer the question quickly? Honestly, I applied for like more than 100 jobs before I got my first job. I don't know whether other people had that kind of experience. Like, you just keep applying. There are some employers that they gave me the job, but at the instance of getting to know that I'm an international student, I only have OPT, or said we are sorry, we don't take OPT students, So, but when I got the one that I got, I was so grateful, that I got it, and that was in Cincinnati Children's Hospital. I worked as environmental operations manager there. So it's a big challenge for an international student to apply for one job and get that job. I don't know, but maybe it's possible. But as an international student, I had other people, like other international students like me, and I think it's the same experience.
Well, yeah, could I hear from all the panelists? If you kind of just give me your number, how many did it take to get that first job? I think it is good for students to hear that. It is, right? It's right. If it is 1 and 1, kudos to you. But yeah, I would love to hear everyone's kind of number.
Let me go next. So this is actually my second job in US, but the number is around, I think it's around 50. But I had a friend who applied for 1,000 jobs. And just a quick comment on that. So problem is that, so when you're applying for a job, what I learned is that you have to tailor make your resume, and also you have to write the cover letter. So rather than applying for like 1,000 jobs, sending same CV, I think if you target for like 10 jobs, you have a high chance of getting at least one. That's what I did on my second time. And within like 5 jobs, I got my second job.
I will say this is my third job in the US. The first job is really the hardest to find. Number-wise, I spent about 2 months looking for a full-time job as a full-time job. Number-wise, probably at like 200-ish on LinkedIn. But once you land it on the first career, it's much easier for you to pivot, and you build connection, you have referral. So definitely the first job is the hardest, at least for me.
Yeah, I would agree. This is my second job, and my first job definitely took the most time and energy. I definitely applied around 200 jobs as well. And I landed like 2. So it's a pretty rough percentage. But then for the second job, it's definitely much easier. I targeted and narrowed down and probably applied for 50 jobs or something.
I have a completely different outlook on this. I have lost count of how many jobs I applied to. One of the main reasons was because I did my undergrad as a computer science engineer. Then I worked as a data analyst for KPMG. Then I came here as an environmental science grad student. And I was trying to look for a job in that field. And according to that, I didn't have experience, plus it required so many security clearance. So as soon as they came to know through the interview process that I'm an international student, they'll immediately send an email that we have selected another student, but my number goes way above thousands. Don't be disappointed. Yeah, it's easier, I would say, when you come closer to your graduation date, or when you have graduated. I know it's very scary, but when you have that fixed date, it helps the recruiter understand that if you are seriously applying for the job and if you will be able to take it up as soon as they want you to be, or you're just ballparking everything and it may or may not happen and the probability is just 50%. So I would say just prepare for your job as if you are going to get it tomorrow, but do a practice run before that. It never hurts. As soon as you get closer to your graduation date, or or you complete all your graduate credits, and if there's something left and you can still start your OPT while being in the program, prepare at least 3 months in advance. On an average, if your job application field is like mine, where it requires a lot of security clearance, I would say be prepared to apply for more than 20 to 30 jobs a day. It is difficult, but like everyone mentioned, it's difficult till you land in the first job. After that, it's just a stepping stone. It's much easier moving forward from there.
Yeah, I applied for 300 jobs, and that includes the quick apply in LinkedIn that you just click on several buttons and then your resume is sent. And that also include some jobs that I really want, that I spent some time to tailor my resume and also, fill out the informations. Yeah.
I wanted to know more about securing actual work authorization in the US, whether you've experienced any challenges in that specific process, if any.
As for me, I don't think it's just easy like that, because the prior knowledge that I had about it is that it's automatic. But, it's like the reality is different. Like when you get to that point, you know that applying for OPT or whatever is not automatic. Like, apart from that, it's also expensive, like, because you have to spend some money, and as an international student, maybe you don't have scholarship, maybe you pay out of pocket, it's a whole lot of money. Then apart from that, it's a lot of paperwork. Like, it's a lot. You have to fill a lot of paper. So it's not just easy. I got my own OPT exactly 3 months. And there was a fear then that before I get my OPT, it might take me 4 months or 5 months, So, but I got my own exactly 3 months. So I don't really have a kind of serious experience about it.
I would like to go next. So there are 2 types of work authorization. I think most of us are familiar with that. The first one is OPT. Thankfully, International Student website has most of the guidelines, and they're doing everything online. So that was pretty easy. The second thing is when you land in a job in a company which is familiar with the process, how international students' paperwork is to be processed, it's, I won't say very simple, but it is fairly simple because they have an understanding of that. In my company, I am the first international hire, so they're not aware of the process. So you have to lay out the documentation, let them know. They are scared because a lot of government companies are involved, and just have to sit them down, talk to them about all the clarification. You have to make sure that in the gap that you, in case you have that gap between date of graduation and before your OPT arrives, you have a complete knowledge about how your work authorization is going to be filed. Are you going to work on your OPT? Will they be filing your H-1B? What period they will be filing in? What all documents are required from your end? What documents are required from their end? And if the company already does not have a set process, what are the other steps? Always have a backup plan. That helps a lot. It's good if you don't have to use it, but always keep that in mind.
I think definitely manage the expectation of do your research about the company you're applying for. And there's tons of resource online. I use myvisajob.com a lot to check if they have sponsored international student before. And sometimes it's, if you don't see a record, or it doesn't mean it's a no-no. So my first company also is a smaller company, and the process is more like hand-holding process with the HR hiring manager, educating with them with the process, and then just, you know, believe yourself and really work through it. So I definitely think it's challenging, but it's possible.
I do kind of want to switch gears a bit from kind of the kind of legal policy aspects of getting a job to maybe some of the more social cultural parts of the workplace, and ask all the panelists kind of how have you acclimated to US work culture? And I don't know, what are there things you find challenging about it? Are there kind of benefits to that you weren't expecting about kind of your kind of workplace culture, and things like that? So any thoughts about that kind of US workplace culture and how you've adjusted? And
Yeah, I can go. I think there are multiple benefits. I think I really enjoy working in the US culture because I just meet so many different people. The workplace is really diverse, at least for my company. I meet people from all over the world, all over the country, and it's just a broad experience of interacting with and learning from their different culture or way of working or a style of communication. So I think that's really cool. I find that the US work culture is pretty fun, like at least for my team. They're really like to bond. They do like team bonding activities like happy hours, and like to chat about their personal lives and everything. So I think it creates like a pretty close atmosphere that I feel comfortable working in. And so I really enjoy that. Something that I had to learn was like for me personally in my culture, I think there are a lot of times you kind of have to be more polite about what you want to ask for. And so you're not being as direct sometimes. And so that was one of my challenge. At first, I thought with networking was more just building like personal connection, chit-chatting, and it is. And I do value that a lot, but sometimes you kind of also want to make sure you're asking for what you want in terms of your career path and your choices. Like if, for example, if you want to be on a specific project, you're building a great relationship with this person, this manager, but you still want to be able to vouch for yourself and speak that, oh, hey, I would love to be on this project because it seems really awesome. and just be direct about it so that they can really try to help you and make it a win-win relationship. So I think that's what I've been learning this year, is to be just more direct on my requests.
From my own experience, US work culture has its own uniqueness. And for you to be able to flow at the same pace as an international student, you have to learn the work culture. You have to study the environment. Like the first thing I did when I started my job in Cincinnati Children's Hospital was to listen to the people, how they communicate, because communication is the key. It's not enough if I say I'm from Nigeria, I'm from English speaking country. It's not enough. Before, I thought it was enough for me to be able to do well, to be able to quickly acclimate with the US work culture. But I found out that even though you can speak English, you still have to learn how Americans speak their English, because there's a difference, especially for people like us that came from British, where we speak British English, or what we call Queen's English. So it's kind of there's a kind of slight differences, and you have to really understand those semantics, apart from that, you have to communicate in the way that they will understand. You have to communicate in the way that the people will understand what you are trying to say, because you want to avoid that miscommunication, which usually happens. Even among people of the same culture, we still have miscommunication. So you, as an international student, you want to be careful of how you communicate. So the first thing I tried to study was how these people communicate, how they communicate. And I don't really have any challenge because I've taken my time to study how they communicate. But when we talk about work culture, that is also a different thing, because the work culture in Miami University, maybe you as a graduate assistant, is different from the work culture out there. It's different from the work culture in other organizations. It's totally different. And this is the reality that I I got to understand, when I started my job, that you have to learn the way people do their things, and you don't want to go there to disrupt the way they do their things, but you are going there to make it better. So, and that was what I did. Though there are some challenges, I must be honest. I must be honest with you. There are some challenges, but once you know that this is what these people need, then you'll be able to interact with them.
So
So
from,
to
sorry, go ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So from kind of like my point of view, I mean, it doesn't really matter where you are. The work culture is one of the most important thing for me, because if I am working at least 8 hours a day, I want to make sure that what kind of culture or what kind of team I am working with. So generally, when I've been somebody's interviewing me, I am also kind of like interviewing them. So I normally ask them this question, like, what would be my day in work look like? And then they will tell me they're like, because I'm not that big fan of a micromanaging culture. Some people don't even agree with that, but I've worked with cultures where they will constantly micromanage you. I want the opposite of thing. That's what I have right now. I found like totally full freedom. I work from home. I have flexible work hours. Those are the things I argue more than my salary, because that's what's important to me. So basically I asked them same question, what would be my day look like? And I've had some situations where I felt like this may not be a good fit for you. And also, I believe the employer, if it's a good employer, the employer will actually look for your fit. Will you fit in their team? And then we also look for that. So when we both agree, so there will be a match. So I was fortunate enough to find this job where, we both agreed, and before signing the offer letter, they also told me that we feel like you will be a good fit. And still to the day, I believe that. And I also felt the same thing. So I would suggest to look for that. Maybe at your first job, it might be really hard. It might be, kind of like trying to find a job, but especially when you have skills and when you go for your second job, rather than money or bonus, I would think like the things like, work culture and how much you can grow. And also I look for a culture where they have a learning mentality. They let you learn stuff and grow, and also like having a culture which fits for me. That's what I want to say.
I totally agree with Sri Skandarajan. It is very important that your work culture match your thoughts, and it makes you feel comfortable, so that you are focused on your 8-hour job a day, and you don't have that stress coming from the office, because you have personal problems. There are so many things happening around it. It happens. Thankfully, to reiterate some points from Emmanuel's words, I have faced this, not a challenge, but this funny thing that we do in office. And now I come from British English background, and we have an American English background here. So some of the scientific terms that we talk about, they don't spell the same, and they don't they don't have the same pronunciation either. We do this activity where we usually just do a gotcha word, and if we hear somebody else say in a different pronunciation, we go back to into the theory and try to see if the Britishers were pronouncing it right or the American pronunciation is right. So it's just I don't know, it's just like a fun activity for us now. I would say the work culture here is pretty relaxed. I would say it's pretty much closer to how my classes were in Miami. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's pretty flexible with everything. The way you dress, what time you come, till the time you're delivering the quality product and you're completing what you're given to do. Nobody's going to micromanage. Nobody is there to just force you into and run you into deadlines. That is something that you have to impose on yourself. I would say a healthy work culture requires a lot of understanding. And as the points were made, that it's important that your mindset matches their mindset, and then you have a clear understanding of where it is going, and you think that there's an overlap, so you can proceed further.
And so one kind of thing I want to follow up with, I heard Sri Skandarajan mention this about kind of the importance of growth in a work culture, which I very much support and agree with. That growth is an important part of a healthy work culture. And so I was hoping if the panelists could kind of share with everyone, what has your professional growth been like since starting your career? How has your professional development been? Or if you want to talk about maybe what do you see your kind of professional development trajectory and growth looking like in the future?
I think my first job is really about learning everything I can from the industry and sort of seeking out and map out your own career path, constantly looking for like what's available in the market, what kind of jobs or trends are popping within the industry. And then one important thing for me is also having a mentor, where a mentor can really help and guide you to find what's your best for, and then help you map out your next step in the career. And I would say I also look on other people's LinkedIn profile a lot. Like I stalk on people's LinkedIn profile for inspiration. It definitely helped me to, understand how they are who they are today and where they have been, what kind of like path they are. Just really helpful to learn from others.
So when I left Miami University, I actually had an idea of what I wanted to do. But when I got my first job, it kind of gave me a better understanding of the career path that I'm really interested in. Like my experience as regards my professional growth has been like, when you get a job as an international student in the US, it kind of helps you to know what the employer wants. Like when you are in the system, you know what the employer wants, you know the fields that are lucrative, you know what you can do in future to help yourselves. Like you get familiar with some certifications, some professional membership that you can join, things like that have really happened to me. Like, although I had the idea in Miami University, but when I got a job, it kind of gave me a lot of learning opportunities. It exposed me to a lot of certifications, a lot of professional certifications that I can do to improve myself.
Yeah, for me, I think a lot of the big four companies, they have a really steady and clear career path, and you just move year over year to the next rank. So if that's something that you think you would do better and that environment, having a clear trajectory of your career, at least for the first few years, I think that those would be a good option to look at and to ask in terms of your questions for the interviewers and the companies. But like opposed to that, I know some of the other companies, they have really more of a vague career path where you have to build your own and really have to try your hardest in order to get promoted, not like other companies. So I think that's something you definitely should take into account when considering jobs and different employers.
So I would like to kind of like add a few things to what the people's panelists said. So like the panelists said, so I also strongly feel like having a good mentor. Actually, I have like several mentors, to kind of like guide me, and then I kind of like try to build my network every day. Even today, I was kind of like introduced to one of the like management people today, and then I sent them an email. Can we have a little chat call? So I normally do like informational interviews. I introduce myself, and then one person I talk to will introduce me to another person. So like that, my career, I'm building my network. So when I was starting my job, so most important thing I thought would be like money, and I need to survive. So now I am moving more towards like building my career and more like thriving. So that'll that might take some time, but so I was able to kind of like develop my skills and spend my time on professional development. Like I attended a lot of seminars, workshops, and I've started to read like really good books, like What Motivates You, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, things like that. So those books and things like career development stuff, and there are even like career coaches. At one point, some of the career coach told me that like all the big leaders today, they have at some point they will have a career coach. Career coach might be a friend, it could be someone, it could be a professional, because you need someone outside kind of like giving you feedback so that you can improve yourself. So every day I think as an opportunity for me to evolve. That's what I call myself. Every day I learn new stuff, new skills, I meet new people, and I upgrade myself. And that's how I see my job. Luckily, my current job is letting me do that. So if I'm going for another job, or if I'm going for promotion, definitely I look this characteristic rather than money or other stuff. This would be my major thing. Whether will that environment let me grow. So I won't emphasize that point.
Yeah, to add few more things to all the pretty points that everybody discussed. On professional growth, it is very important to see where you started from and where you are heading. And LinkedIn stalking profiles always helps because it gives you a little bit of idea of what people have done in the past to reach where they are. And if it is something that interests you, maybe it's on your list, maybe it's not. Maybe sometimes you are able to discover something new that is probably interesting. I'm a person who's all over the place all the time, and it just gets excited with a lot of different things. Oh, probably I should try this, probably I should try that. So I like to see what they have studied, what certifications they have done, where I am currently, how long of a process is there to reach that point, what can I include in my current work to probably grow to that point, how much time it's going to take. So it's more of an anticipation and research point. Other than that, all the certification courses are like building blocks. I am not sure about the different departments everyone's representing, but for my department, my course was pretty broad. I could have taken a job in flood management, data management, gone into data sciences. This job is currently closely related to architecture, which I had a course, luckily, sustainability in design. So it doesn't really matter. Go for something that motivates you. I would say if you are able to mix something with your hobbies and your career together, it's way better professional development because you have your interest. Always keep looking for options and inspirations. You can talk to more people who have experience in the field. Professors are the best help because they have seen themselves grow, they have seen the students grow, and they understand what we are going through because they have been going through that process over and over again with every batch of student and every single student they encounter. Other than that, it's just more and more effort you're planning to put towards your career growth. It could be if you reach in a stable job where you like the work environment, you can completely go steadily with their procedure, or you can keep jumping ships like what I do. Doesn't always work, but you have the options to change, you have the options to grow yourself, to groom yourself, look for more professional certifications. They always help, not just for your job, but in your career as well, for your better understanding of the subject matter. Yeah, that's pretty much it from me.
Now that you're kind of established in your career and looking back, what is a resource that you wish you had used while at Miami, that you wish you had kind of used to aid your growth and prepare you for your career, that looking back, you say, I wish I would have done what?
I wish I would have taken a class in environmental health and safety. I don't know why, maybe because I have too many courses to take then. So, well, if somebody asked me, just like you asked me that, what did I forget in Miami? If I have my opportunity, I will go back and take that course, environmental health and safety.
For me, I would have to say I wish I had gone study abroad. Many of my friends had a great experience doing that, but I couldn't fit it into my schedule due to like courses. But I really think if you have the chance, you should, because it would be like really good in terms of like shaping your experience and like culture and learning.
Definitely think so for the study abroad part. If I can, go back, I would definitely like participate in study abroad program and then participate more in the business student organization, just to get your experience in the real case scenario and participate with more organization activities.
Yeah, my previous answer is that to talk with professor more, like go to more office hour. But after hearing the Hua's answer, I want to change my answer to study abroad.
So for me, so I felt like during kind of like this long period of time, I kind of like did a good job in like meeting people, building the network, and getting the skills. But the things I really did not work is kind of like working with the international office, and especially the IPOL. I never even kind of like attempted to interact with them. So I lost a lot of like kind of like leadership opportunities. So I was given a lot, but I thought skills were the important things. So that's if I want to go back, I will also try to make like more friends and make like more like get into like more leadership kind of activities.
I would say for me it was rec center. Use more and more of it. Helps to keep you mentally and physically a little fit to continue your grad school. I went on study abroad and it's amazing. Please go ahead and join those programs. It's so much fun. It's so much learning. Rec center I would have, if I spent more time there, I felt like I would have made more connections, more friends, stayed a little more healthy, and had some time for myself to just engage in some activity and not use my brain to overthink about what's going to happen.
So kind of my last question really is just kind of, I don't know, final kind of words from the panelists, final bit of advice, insight, inspiration, just about what can current Miami students do to prepare for their future careers? Just kind of any final bits of advice you have on that. What can current Miami students do to prepare for their future careers?
A very important thing to do when you're preparing for your career is networking at any level, at any instance, anywhere. You can talk to your professors, get connected with the alumni. You can use LinkedIn, go to rec center, through student organizations, anything, whatever you are comfortable with, and whatever you're not comfortable with, try to push yourself out through that. It's a little difficult talking to new people, but trust me, getting a job is way more easier process once you have a huge network who knows about things and who can help, if not refer you, or if not land you in the right opportunity, at least guide you in the right path, or talk to you about the challenges that they have faced and the mistakes they might have made, so that you don't waste your time in that particular direction. Learn from them and just keep working on the networking part.
So as for me, the best way to get a job as an international student in the US is through referral. That is the best way ever, because these people will speak for you. They will use their connection to get you a job. So it's really, really important. Like Sachi said, creating more networks, make as much as friends that you know within your field and outside your field, because you don't know who is who. You don't know who will be of help to you. Be nice to people, be friendly, be helpful, because you don't know who is going to help you in future. So you don't want to offend or insult somebody that might be of help to you in future. So apart from that, if you don't have the opportunity of referral, then your resume should be able to speak for you. If you have a good and solid resume, then that will go a long way. At least it will get you an interview. It will get you selected to be interviewed. And once you are interviewed, then you are probably getting there. So make sure you have a good resume, like make use of the career center, talk to people, send it to your friends, send your resume to your friends and ask them to help you review your resume. That would be very, very helpful. Then the third thing is attend career fair. There are a lot of career fairs online, face-to-face. Make sure you attend those events, because from there you might meet a recruiter make sure you get their business card, and make sure you follow up. Send out emails to them, send emails to them and let them know your interest. Let them know that you are interested in getting a job in their company. By the time you do this, at a time, you will click it and everything will fall in place.
I think for me, first of all, is really figuring yourself out, know where you want to move to, or what kind of job you want to do your research, and really don't limit yourself with the visa or work authorization. Developing a career is what's really important. And then it doesn't really have to be in the US. It can be, just have your eyes open and then do the research and then know what are some available options. My personal experience is when I'm applying for my first job or applying for H-1B or applying for other visa stuff, don't limit yourself with what's might be challenging out there. And then lastly, may sound cliches, never give up. Figuring yourself, know you want to do your goal, and then never give up.
Then in addition to that, I just remember something. Make sure, just like I think Sachi or somebody mentioned it, make sure you do something that you are interested in. If you go for a job because of the money or because of the salary, because of the wages, at a time you get tired of the money and you will want to fire yourself from that job. So it's important for us to do, for international students, yes, to do a job that they have interest in. Do not go for a job because of money or because of the salary, because at the end of the day, you will get tired of the money. And when the motivation is not there, then everything will just, become something that's really, really challenging for you.
So just want to kind of add a few one or 2 points, so which I felt that might help you. So to be very specific, so Meetup is a really good resource. There are professional meetups happening like especially in Cincinnati for pretty much most of the careers, especially software engineering, business, and stuff like that. So attending the meetup groups will actually give you a huge network if the group is really active. So in Oxford, if there's not a meetup group, it's the best way to start a meetup group. You only have to pay a few amount, but if you can afford, just start a meetup group and just talk to your friends. And in Oxford, you can even actually during notice board, you can actually put your meetup groups. So that will actually gather like-minded people having similar career things, and you guys can talk. And also in that group, you can actually start to invite speakers or people to come and talk from the company you want to work with. For example, if you want to work with Google, once you have a really good group, as a group, you can ask some engineers from Google to come and give you a talk. So in that case, you are also building a credibility, you're also improving your leadership skills, and also you are making connections. So that it's kind of a very specific way I could say. The second thing is that, so if we can spend some money and get LinkedIn premium, then you will get LinkedIn Learning for free. So LinkedIn Learning is like a TikTok to build skills. There are classes you can take in 15 minutes to just learn one simple skill. For example, how to give an elevator pitch, how to introduce yourself in 30 seconds. That skill you can easily learn from within a few minutes. So what I do even now is in Friday, like after work, if I'm tired before going to bed, I just go to LinkedIn Learning and quickly do a search and just watch one video short course. So that's an easy way to learn and get the skills. The credential may not be valid, but the skills you learn will definitely kind of help you. And finally, I would suggest you to find a few good mentors. And the one thing really helps me is that I am not in Facebook, I am not in Twitter, I'm not in Instagram, I'm nothing. I only use LinkedIn as my social media. And I also limit my time. Most of the time I spend now reading good books, which Miami University has a good library. Once again, if you want to find good books, I would recommend Amazon, reading, Amazon Prime also has some reading. And also Amazon actually has a reading membership, which you can pay $9 and you could get a lot of good career books. So I would suggest those. that's what helping me.
Yeah, I would like to add to these. Those are extremely helpful points, really great points. I second all of those. But it's also important to know that, yes, it's super challenging. Yes, don't give up, but you will probably feel overwhelmed at some point, because I did. I definitely felt really stressful during my junior year trying to find my internship. So I think what really helped me is know that there are things that you can't control. Like certain companies won't like even look at you if you require sponsorship. That's okay. Just know that that's definitely out of your control. Don't worry about it. Just do your best in things that you can control, and do whatever you can to, prepare yourself well, prepare your resume, prepare for the interview, go out and network, and like really talk to people, and find out what you want to do. Those are really big items for sure, but you can definitely just try, and yeah, things will fall into place this way other than like any other way. It doesn't have to be in the US. It doesn't have to be a certain company. Just keep your eyes open, keep your options open.
Yeah, and I'll just add one point just to let people know that you're looking for jobs, that when you talk to the professor or anything, that you can say that you're looking for jobs. And when you talk to friends, let them know, and they might be the person who can, help you. So, and just keep trying. Yeah.
I have a quick question for the Miss Song. I remember you mentioned the website, if the company sponsored the visa or not. Could you tell us the website one more time?
Yes, I always just search the company name and then do my visa job. So you can see previously if they sponsored any kind of like work authorization, they have a record. I can also type in the chat.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, a couple questions coming in now. So I think we have one. Why is it way more difficult to find the first job than the second job? Why more difficult that first job than the second job?
It's usually more difficult to find the first job is because sometimes you don't have work experience in US. It is required. I came across a lot of opportunities which were entry-level positions, but they require 2 to 3 years of work experience. So that is one main reason why the first job is so difficult to find, because you don't have anything to back you up, and all you have is college education, the project experience, but sometimes the companies are ready to count them as your learning curve, or assess them based on different skills that you gained, but sometimes they don't want to take that risk. So it's like a gamble for them. Sometimes it turns out to be really nice, sometimes it doesn't. That is why it is but it's more difficult to find the first job than the second one.
So I would also like quickly like that the reason why I think the first job is difficult is that you really don't know what the employer is actually looking for. Once you actually start to work in a job, you'll get the feel of, like what an employer will be looking for and what is some of the skills you can develop. And also secondly, like Shashi said, you will have like no experience. So basically you don't have a social proof, so employers will have a hard time trusting you, so that is the way that that's something you can develop by doing like projects while in Miami University, or just showing your leadership skills, or like having some like credential, like certification. Those are the ways you can build your social proof to kind of like build your brand. So if you have built a good brand, then that will kind of like make your job easy. So once you are doing your first job, you're actually building your brand. So you'll be able to market yourself better on the second job, and that will make your life easy. And also on your first job, you'll be building a lot of network, which will also make you finding your second job easy.
Yes, I do want to clarify any current student who is thinking of kind of some sort of off-campus work, please do contact the ISS office to make sure you are following all the regulations and procedures to legally pursue kind of work off-campus work opportunities. And yes, previously I shared that OPT link. And then yes, when in doubt, just send us an email. I'm going to drop our email in the chat here. If you're not sure if you can work or what is legal, what you can do with your status, always, as always, send an email first to international@miamioh.edu just to kind of let us know what you're thinking and see how we can help you. Again, I just want to thank all the panelists, really great information and insight. So kudos to you. Hopefully all the audience and attendees are loudly and wildly clapping in their rooms now, but really, really thank you for taking the time and really sharing your insight and journey with all of us. And thank you also to the attendees for making time to listen live. Everyone, remember International Education Week, and all of us here are part of international education and hopefully can speak to its merits. So again, happy International Education Week to all. Thank you everyone for taking the time, and be well all.